Maxx Crosby trade has been called off.
The Ravens did not feel comfortable to pass him on that physical. So now that leaves us certainly an unusual spot because Maxx Crosby is now a Raider, and the Ravens have their first-round picks back.
All right, so we open the show by talking about this from the Ravens' perspective. With RC here today, RC, I'm going to ask you to explain someone else's tweet today, as opposed to your own, which you normally do. Maxx Crosby posted this last night. Everything happens for a reason. Believe nothing you hear and half of what you see. I'm a Raider. I'm back. Run that stuff. He says. RC. Was there a better way to do that?
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been.
Fair enough.
First of all, what he's saying is the Ravens is playing in my face.
Okay.
Right? That's also something you don't understand.
Yeah, correct.
Right? So first he's saying the Ravens playing in my face, and he's like, I'm not hurt. I'm not banged up. I'm going to be ready to play. And then the end of it here is translated this way. I ain't really got no choice but to be back in Las Vegas.
Right.
So since I'm back in Las Vegas, when I say run that stuff, that means as long as I'm here, I'm going to play hard as hell even if we don't win until I get traded. Hopefully, I hope so. Please, God.
Okay.
Somebody gonna pay.
Excellent explanation of the tweet. So, that to me is the interesting part of this, Graziano. Maxx Crosby, that trade is called off. We understand all the complications that exist now, not the least of which is Maxx Crosby is a man who has been traded and returned to the Las Vegas Raiders, and I think we know him, without even knowing him, to be sort of a prideful guy. This is a complicated situation. Will he still be traded?
I mean, again, I wish I could give you a concrete answer. Right now, they're hearing from teams that want to take advantage of an opportunity and get him for less, far less probably than what Baltimore was going to give up. So wisely, the Raiders will hold off. They can fit him under their cap. They can fit him on their budget. So there's nothing for them to do right now other than wait. As he gets healthier, if they start to hear from teams with a price that's more acceptable to them, absolutely this could be revisited. But right now is probably the absolute lowest point of his value as a trade asset, and the Raiders don't have any particular need to get rid of him, so I think they'll wait it out.
Greeny, I don't know what type of life you had growing up.
Okay.
Right? But my parents worked hard.
I think you do.
My parents worked hard though, but we didn't have a lot of money.
Right.
Right. There was this thing called layaway.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what layaway is.
I do,
right?
actually.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I do.
layaway, you could pay on it until you could get it.
Yeah.
But what happened was he was on layaway for the Baltimore Ravens, right?
Right.
And then they went a couple of weeks, a couple of days went, and they was like, I don't want to pay for this anymore. I don't want to get this off layaway. So now they put it back on the rack at Walmart. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what happens is usually when it's on layaway, they don't tell the people it's on layaway. We all knew Maxx was on layaway, right? And we all know now that Maxx was a little defective. So what Maxx has to do is sit on the rack long enough so he's no longer the thing that was on layaway that wasn't bought. And when it gets to that point, that's when Maxx can see if they can go, or that's when Spy Tech can see if they can go seek the proper compensation for Maxx Crosby.
So, Greeny, Walmart is a place.
I've heard of that, too.
The thing about the Maxx Crosby situation is there's no pressure because of the cap situation. There's no pressure on the Raiders to make the deal now.
Yeah.
The Raiders are going to be waiting, I would guess, until someone else is desperate, which will shoot the price up. They might wait till getting close to the draft when someone really wants to move something there, getting close to the trade deadline, or if there's an injury during training camp. If a team goes on a big run and loses their pass rusher, or it seems like they could be helped by Maxx Crosby, then another team will be desperate and their price will go up. There's no rush for them. They can fit him under the cap. He plays well. He probably value will go up if he gets healthy and they put him on the field. He wrecks one game. You're like, you know what? Them 2 first-round picks sound kind of good. I'm the Bills. We're having a good run right now. You know, it'd be nice. We could
add him.
Take Brandon Bean. A little bit of pressure on you. Take these picks. Take all these picks because Maxx gonna get me to the bowl.
And the other thing is too, when it gets to that point, some of these teams will be in a situation where they know if I'm a Maxx Crosby away from winning a championship, they know because as Dan said, maybe it's that I don't have Maxx Crosby for the next 5 to 7 years. Maybe I only have him for 1 or 2 or 3 where I see him play at this height and my team built around him can go win it right now. That's not necessarily a desperate team, but that's an excited team. That's a team that's willing to give you those picks because just like we saw with the Rams years ago, you're willing to go get that player if it equals a Lombardi trophy.
But just to make clear what I'm hearing from them, today's March 12th. The things you're talking about don't happen for months. As Shefty said the other day, no one's playing Sunday. So the things we're talking about here, that extends well beyond even this year's draft. which is 6 or 7 weeks away. You think it could extend past that time?
Absolutely. I mean, if I'm the Raiders, I'm not in a rush to do it because, A, the value is low, and B, like, to rush ahead of this draft when everybody's yelling about next year's draft,
Right.
like that next year's first-round pick is going to be more valuable. So I think it's smart of them to wait, and that's what I expect them to do.
And also, Max said run this S,
Right,
which means he's comfortable with
Right.
staying there. Like, there's no pressure forcing them to make a deal that they don't want to make at this point.
I get that part of it. Here's how I interpreted, at least partially, what Maxx Crosby tweeted. If he had come out and said something like, or even in his actions, I'm never going back there, I'm not going to Vegas. Now he's completely destroying them. Now everyone knows that not only is he damaged goods, but he doesn't want to be there, so it would have destroyed any leverage they had whatsoever. That felt to me like him working with the Raiders to sort of help them find the best trade they could find.
Like that's not Maxx Crosby's character.
Yeah. No.
Right? Maxx Crosby is a leader. Maxx Crosby is a dude, when you were watching the Las Vegas Raiders and you knew good and damn well they didn't have a chance to win, that guy played winning football.
Yeah.
So there's no way as a leader at that position, there's no way as a guy that's overcome what he's overcome, 6 years sober recently, that you're going to put something out about yourself that doesn't show that level of character.
Right.
But he also knows this too. I got to now go out and play. I got to show that I'm this person, because if there is a little doubt about how healthy I can be, everything about me matters. More importantly, when I get back on the field, when they cut this film on, they need to see the same MVP or Defensive Player of the Year caliber player that they have seen from me in the last few years.
I've got the place. I've got the spot where this all could come together. I'm going to connect a bunch of dots. Let me start by rolling C21. Our next stop is Philadelphia. The Eagles have seen some key defenders walk out the door this offseason. Jalen Phillips, gone. Nakobe Dean, gone. Reed Blankenship, gone. On the flip side, defensive tackle Jordan Davis staying 3 years, $78 million. He talked about this roster turnover, and listen to the words he uses to describe his Eagles.
I mean, that's my job, to make sure that everybody comes in here, they're welcome. They feel like they're part of the defense, they're part of the unit, the offense, it doesn't matter the team. And, like from year to year, we got guys loaded up. It's not a rebuild, it's a reload.
So the Eagles want to rebuild, not reload, makes all the sense in the world. The Eagles have a very valuable trade asset at A.J. Brown, who they could, if they choose to, move at some point soon for some draft picks. I don't know exactly what they'd get in compensation, but a reasonable amount of draft pick compensation, which would load them up with a bunch of draft picks, and they take some of those draft picks and they send them to the Las Vegas Raiders, and they bring Maxx Crosby to the Philadelphia Eagles, where they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, largely because they rushed the passer so ridiculously well, and a big part of their fall off has been that they haven't done that as well in recent years. Maxx Crosby to the Eagles would make all the sense in the world to me, and they can get the extra picks by making the trade we've been talking about all along. I'm connecting those dots. What do you think?
Well, I think Howie is a guy, though, that's not going to say, I'm going to give you more than I have to give you right now. I don't think Howie overpays after what he saw with the Ravens. I believe this is a team, too, that we'll see down the road who only have Nolan Smith. They only have Jalix Hunt right now as those outside rushers. This is the team where we'll see peeping into Maxx Crosby. And we know one thing about the Philadelphia Eagles, it's never too late until the trade deadline. Right? And so if they start to feel we aren't getting the type of pressure we want to get, Jahad Campbell's playing well in replace of Nakobe Dean, Andrew Makuba is playing well in replace of Reed Blankenship. Now we know Reek Woolen is playing at an all-pro level or Pro Bowl level again. Let's go get the rusher to win. And I think you saw that they weren't ready to make that sort of move by allowing Jalen Phillips to go to the Carolina Panthers. They're a team I'd be looking for. I don't think they do this or rush this right now.
And I think also we want to find out how good your team is. And what we saw from the Eagles last year suggests that they might be in a little bit of a transition. And the fact that they're losing, we talked about earlier, Stoutland, the O-line coach. They might be losing A.J. Brown. So a team that goes after Maxx Crosby is a team that knows that they are in the hunt. The team that is trying to reload in a way like Jordan Davis said is a team that collects a lot of picks. So I think a lot of teams, the value of Maxx Crosby is going to change after week 4, after week 5, after week 6, when there are teams that were like, oh, Oh, damn.
We didn't even know.
I know, like, oh, we close. You know what would be nice? We got this chance. Let's go. Let's go get it. Or there's a team who had high expectations, but like, damn, we can't get no pressure. That's killing us. Then those teams, Maxx Crosby gets
And
much
we
more
also
valuable.
don't know who gets hurt, Dan.
Yeah.
Right?
that's the
A team
whole
a team that's in the hunt that loses someone could be a team.
100%.
Yeah.
Really.
But to be clear, they're all the way into the season on this side of the table here. Is that what we're talking about? We're talking about this going into the season.
If you can't get sufficient return to justify trading away a player of this caliber, then you should wait until you can. Because again, there's nothing. They don't have to trade him to clear cap space. They don't have to, like, he might want out. We think he wanted out, but now he seems to indicate that he doesn't. So he's not pressing the issue. They're not in a hurry.
There's no team that this was more perfect for than it was for the Ravens. It kills me that it doesn't work out.
Agree.
I was watching the trade before it happened, and we all assumed it was a thing. And I was like, damn, we going for season 2 of The Wire. We going to the docks. We going to the docks, D. Moore. Let's go to the docks, D. Moore. I'm with it. Then the trade broke down. I was like, all right, we skipping season 2. Then they went and got Trey. Oh, we back in the docks. We back at the docks.
Culture shift.
Oh, yeah. We shifted.
I know none of you understand
Look it up,
what's
Google
going
it.
on.
You do?
But if you watch The Wire, just push through season 2.
Yeah.
It gets better.
Yes, I'm just laughing like I know what you mean.